happened to cause your father to die?
God wanted him more than we did. God doesn't know. I really needed him.
God must have had his reasons. We don't know what it is, do we? But left you awfully lonely, didn't it? That left you and Mom.
You're all alone.
And no Stevie there. How was he taking care of you now that Dad's gone?
My friend Stevie?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't.
Good morning, all of my beautiful, amazing subs. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I would like to thank Videocratic Media. I found this interview. I'm going to play the rest later. This is Kenneth Bianchi. I might be saying the name wrong. I just heard about. Hey, um, how are you, Juju? I just saw your message. So that is definitely happening. Like, so somebody brought the Hillside Strangler case to me last night, and this is one of the only cases I can say that I never looked into. So I stayed up until like 4 in the morning researching and wrote out this whole thing. So you guys, this is a trigger warning, very graphic material. I'm going to be showing pictures of crime scenes, and if you don't like this sort of thing, I understand. Um, and we will see you on the next video. So, a lot of people know about the Hillside Strangler cases. Let me pull up my notes. Yes. Definitely would not do this when the kids were around. Hopefully, yeah, come back. It's a long one, so I will still be here. And yeah, I never, I don't know why I never looked into this case, but very disturbing. I'm glad you stopped by, and I will see you when you get back. Um, so 4 months. Okay. For 4 months, the hills of LA were littered with the bodies of women and girls aged 12 to 28. It was the work of two insane, disgusting human beings, though they were recognized as a single monster, one and the same, the Hillside Strangler. The Hillside Strangler had left the bodies of some 5 young girls in the hills of LA within 30 days. By the end of their streak, they would have raped, tortured, and murdered some 10 women and girls between the ages of 28 and 12. To the horror of authorities and citizens alike, the Hillside Strangler was actually the work of two horrific men, Kenneth Bianchi and his cousin Angelo Wano Jr. Before their massacre abruptly stopped in February 1978, a 9-year-old boy found two of the Strangler's victims. He was with his friends on an adventure, searching for buried treasure in the local dump's trash heap. From afar, the boy would later tell the police that they just looked like mannequins. That's why he was willing to climb up over the filthy mattresses and get a close enough view to see what they really were. What these boys saw was horrific. Two little girls, one 12 and one 14, not much older than he was, stripped naked and left to rot. They'd been there in the trash and the heat of the sun for about a week. Their pretty young faces had started to decay, and there were swarms of insects all over them. Those two young girls, Solly Dolly Capetta, and Sonia Johnson wouldn't be the last to die. Before the sun went down, another body would be found. So, before we go into all of this, I wake them in 15 minutes. I kind of want to wait. I kind of want to wait then. I could play the rest of the interview videos and wait for you. Right now, I was going to go into their background. Um, so, before you wake them up, Kenneth Bianchi he was one of the cousins who was involved in these horrific murders. The massacre did not start until Kenneth Bianchi and his cousin Angelo Buono first got together in January 1976, when Bianchi moved from Rochester, New York, to live with his cousin in LA. However, Bianchi would later be found responsible for several murders on his own. As the case with many, a murderer, Bianchi had a troubled past. His mother was unstable and unable to care for him, and so he was adopted. He was himself an unstable youth and later adult who had difficulty holding down steady work. He had many jobs that he just quit. He just couldn't hold a job. And so with his cousin, he landed on a money making scheme that would grow into a murdering spree. Now, Angelo Buono, he was the older cousin. Angelo is believed to have acted as a sort of role model for his younger cousin, Kenneth, and was able to sway him. The child of divorced parents, Buono was raised by his mother, but from even an early age, Buono seemed to have loathed women. Though he married several times, he proved to be an abusive husband. Angelo consequently hit on the idea that would become a murder spree first. They would become pimps, he told his cousin, and bring in teenage runaways that no one would miss, and they would force them to turn tricks. Bianchi and Bueno first took in two teenage girls named Sabra Hannon and Becky Spears. Then, once they had them in Buono's home, they locked them up and forced them to sell their bodies. These two men were brutal. They were monsters. They would beat the girls. They pimped them. They raped them. And they beat them even more when they tried to resist. They locked them in their rooms and only let them leave when they would beg for permission. Sabra enlisted the help of a lawyer named David Wood. Both women made successful escapes. And I will go over more of those um, more in depth later on of those two ladies. Sabra, one time, she, told a jury, she said, I was tired of getting beat up, tired of all the threats, tired of engaging in prostitution. Um, and this is what she would tell a jury years later when the men who had tortured her were put on trial for murder. She was lucky that she got away because not long after she left, Bianchi and Buono's violent tendencies only worsened. Their first murder came a little after Sabra and Becky's escape. Determined to keep their pimping business alive, Bianchi and Buono, see, I can't really pronounce their names, but paid a prostitute named Deborah Noble for a trick list with the names and numbers of customers in LA. Noble showed up at their house with another prostitute, Yolanda Washington, and sold them a phony list. Bianchi and Buono quickly realized this and wanted vengeance. So they were not happy that they got this list and it was fake. So, the next thing they're coming up with a plan um, to do horrible things to this lady. They knew where to find Yolanda um, because she had told them where she often worked at. Yolanda Washington's body was found naked on a hillside near the Ventura Freeway on October 18th, 1977. She had been tied up with fabric around the neck, wrists, and legs and pinned down. She'd been violently raped, and then her body had been washed clean to remove the evidence and left naked on the hill. A music store owner named Ronald Lamex was the last person to see her alive. He would later testify that two men flashing police badges had pulled her off the street, handcuffed her, and pushed her into the back seat of an unmarked car. Let me change this picture real quick because I don't want to get it's a lot of violent there's a lot of violent pictures. It's disgusting, but it just shows, it just shows everything that these monsters did. Um, Let me just show this. So these are victims. All right. Um, so they handcuffed her. They flashed their police badges and they pushed her into the back seat of an unmarked car. And that would become the trademark for most of their murders. They would pretend they were cops. They would flash a fake badge. They would tell women like that they were cops. Um, then they take her to Angelo's upholstery shop and make sure she was never seen again. Less than 2 weeks later, the Hillside Stranglers struck again. This time, they killed a 15-year-old runaway who'd been surviving by selling her body on the streets. Her body turned up on November 1st, 1997, dumped in a residential area in LA Crescenta. All right, love. Thank you for coming. A waitress named Lisa Caston turned up next, just 5 days later. And she was the first woman they killed who wasn't a prostitute. November 20th, the bodies of Dolly Pepetta, Sonia Johnson, and Christina Reckler all turned up on the same day. And the manner of death for Reckler was found to be particularly troubling, as investigators found that the Stranglers had experimented with injecting her with household surface cleaners. Now, why they did that? Oh, oh my god, this story is so disturbing, you guys. Women in LA learned to live in fear. There was a woman named Kimberly Martin who joined a call girl agency, hoping that they keep her safe. But instead, the agency accepted a call from two men using a payphone and sent her out to her death. Martin's body was found on December 14th, 1977. She was found nude, strangled, and with electrical burns on her palms. She was 18 years old, and she was the ninth victim of the Hillside Strangler. There would be a little more than 2 months of peace before the killers would strike a tenth and final time, leaving the body of a woman named Cindy Hudspeth in the truck of her Datsun, inches from the edge of a cliff. Then suddenly, in February 1978, the massacre just stopped. Kenneth had left LA just as the spree finished. He had fallen in love and spent much of his time in LA trying to win the hand of a woman named Kelly Boyd in marriage. Boyd never agreed to marry him, but she did give him a son. She gave birth to their boy Ryan just days after the Hillside Strangler struck for the final time. Weeks after giving birth, Kelly Boyd broke things off with Bianchi and moved to Washington State. In May 1978, he followed her to Bellingham, Washington. But the killer and Bianchi seemed just not able to stop. Um, on January 12th, 1979, Bianchi kidnapped and murdered two young students at Western Washington University without the help of Angelo helping him. Bianchi was clumsy about covering his tracks, and the police caught him the next day. He'd kill the woman in Washington the same way he killed those girls in LA. When the police pulled him in, they found out that he was still carrying a California driver's license. Kenneth Bianchi, they quickly realized, was one half of the Hillside Strangler. When they threatened him with the capital punishment, he broke down and he gave up his partner, which was his cousin Angelo. During his trial, Bianchi tried to plead insanity and stated that he had multiple personality disorder, but the court didn't buy it, thank God. Bianchi pleaded guilty to the Washington murders and 5 of the California murders, and then testified against his cousin to avoid the death penalty. He received 6 life sentences, where Buono received life without parole. The jury ultimately voted against capital punishment. With his final words to the court, the presiding judge, Ronald George, cursed the rules that kept him from sentencing them to death. Angelo and Kenneth slowly squeezed out of their victims the last breath of air and their promise for a future life. And all for what? The sadistic thrill of enjoying a brief perverted sexual satisfaction and venting of their hatred for women. If there was a case where the death penalty is appropriate, I would think that this was the case. Buono died while imprisoned in 2002. Bianchi is still living out his sentence after marrying a Louisiana pen pal in September 1989. He went up for parole in 2010, and thank God he was denied. This case is very disturbing. I will now show the rest of this confession. Now, this is Kenneth.
What do you mean?
He's gone.
Now, how's your mom taking care of you, dealing with you now that your dad has died? She ain't different that she's still being there for you.
No, for real. She won't let me do anything. I always want to know, I can't be dad. I keep telling her I can't be dad. I'm just a kid.
So she's trying to get out of you what you needed out of your dad, huh? Did she calm you down as far as hitting you and telling you what to do? Or what?
No, she still does. She tells me everything what to do. I can't even walk out the front door without her telling me to do it.
Any other people showing up there like Stevie?
No.
Your dad is going away. He loved you very much. He still loves you. I'm sure God is having him look after you wherever he can. And help you in whatever way he can. He's just beginning to be the close father to you. And I'm sure he misses you as much as you miss him. Maybe you can listen for him. Maybe he can get through and talk to you a little bit. Maybe you can get some of his wisdom, his judgment, some of his knowledge about how to cope with these things. You just never know. So I'm sure he misses it too.
I just wanted to talk to him.
Now, I do want to just go back over Kenneth's, his early life. Like I said, Kenneth was born May 22nd, 1951, in Rochester, New York. His natural mother was a alcoholic prostitute, was adopted at birth, and had a love-hate relationship with women, and even as a young child. He was interested in police work, but like I said, he was unable to secure a job. And eventually, one time, he settled for a post as a security guard. So, he didn't really have a good life growing up, which is no excuse, but I just want you guys to know in this confession, he talks a lot about his parents.
Okay, I'm gonna start talking to you real for 15 you are, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and I don't talk to Stevie. I talk to Stevie. The Stevie we're talking about.
Yeah.
What's your name?
See?
Last name.
You. The motherfucker has been trying to get me to leave him.
You can't do that.
Fucker.
What's your last name?
Fuck, this is the worst.
I won't talk to you. Hold on, see.
Are you writing a fucking book?
Nope. I'm gonna report to the judge. He's asked me to talk to you.
Fucking ask him then, how old are you?
He is so disgustingly cocky, and a lot of these psychopaths are like they try to take. I was going over a case, and they try to take control of everything. So this interview,
I didn't get 27.
Fuck him.
Ashtrays are in your way.
What the fucking ashtrays are? You don't have to tell me. Fucking assholes, like, I was doing fine, I come out whenever I fucking felt like it. Now you gotta stick your goddamn nose in this whole shit mess. I was doing fine, Now I can't fucking come out when I want to.
We'll hold you back.
That fucking asshole. I just fucking forget it. Fucking forget it.
You haven't come out in jail longer? You got 3 months.
Yeah, I fucking used to.
Do what?
Anything I fucking wanted. I wanted that fucker out of the way. He's been a hassle with me all my life.
How so?
He thinks he's so fucking good. One time I used to like that asshole.
You're a good friend back.
One time. But he just fucking won't listen. There's a fucking right way to do things, and there's fucking my way to do things, and my way's always been the right way. Fuck him, nobody's worth it out there. It's just a fucked up world.
so I do have to pause for a minute just so I don't get a strike. But I did thank you guys, Videocratic Media. So please go subscribe to them. This is where I am getting this confession from.
Fuck him, his mother too. She's a fucking cunt. She was a fucking cunt. He still puts up with her shit a little bit. Granted, I can't come out, but I can see what he's doing, and fuck, man, he has got to wise up. I want to get out, I want to stay out, and fuck it, that's all there is to it. I'm just a better person than him.
You did get yourself in a jam.
He got himself into a jam. I fucking killed those broads, to smarten him up, to show him that he couldn't push me fucking around.
Which ones?
Those two fucking cunts, that blonde-haired cunt and the brunette cunt.
You're rebellion?
That's right.
Why?
Because I hate fucking cunts.
Why those two? You didn't even know them.
He knew him.
Oh, I thought you only knew one of them a little bit.
He knew one of them. The other one came along for the ride. Cunts are so fucking stupid. You don't understand that.
That's what I'm trying to learn.
You just don't fucking understand it. He doesn't either.
Why don't you explain to me why you did it?
Fucking waste.
How did you do it?
Strangled him.
With what?
Fucking plain as that.
With what?
Strangled him with fucking cord. Nothing to it.
Did you bring
It's a
the cord
breeze.
along or was it there?
You bet. Nope, brought it along.
Where did you get it from?
Got it from my basement.
Well, why did you have him go there? How did you have him go there?
Oh, it was a cinch, man. He used to be such a fucking sap. He left. I came. I did all the calling. I found out what her phone number was. I called Karen. I set it up so she could bring her girlfriend.
How much money did you offer?
$200.
That sounds like a pretty high price.
It's a sap deal, I never had the money to pay him.
No.
You guys, I am letting this play still. I don't want to get a copy strike, so I gotta pause it, and now I'm going to play it again and pause my mouth.
That's what I think. Kind of wondering why you offer so much money. Why at that time did you choose to kill somebody?
Because I was finding it so hard to come out where I belong, Do you fucking understand that?
Where do you belong?
I belong out. Ken belongs gone. I belong out in the world where I can do what I fucking want to.
What about his girl and baby?
What about him?
They were there too.
Fuck, he's so stupid,
What did you hope to accomplish by killing those two girls?
Get him out of the way.
And what would happen to you?
Nothing would fucking happen to me.
How did you expect him to disappear? By being executed? Or disappear in some other way?
He would disappear in some other way.
Did you ever think that that body there might be executed by the law? For first-degree murder?
So fucking what?
Well, that would sort of put an end to a lot of activity, wouldn't it?
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Did you think about that before you killed him?
Fuck no.
Did you realize that it was right or wrong to kill him? Which way did you think it was?
It wasn't fucking wrong. Why is it wrong to get rid of some fucking cunts?
Why did you think it was right?
Because it makes the world a better place to live in.
Did you realize there's a law against killing girls?
Fucking laws. Laws are nothing but fucking writing on paper.
Did you realize there's a law on paper that says you get executed if you kill girls? Did you know that?
That's bullshit.
Did you know that the state of Washington has a law against killing girls?
Fuck. No. You satisfied now?
I'm just asking a question.
I don't know why I fucking talk to you. This fucking asshole over here is trying to get rid of me. This one over here is trying to fucking get rid of me. And you got all the questions.
I'm just here to ask questions. That's my job. Nobody can get rid of you that can.
Cool, it's a fuck job you got.
True. That's.
You should go out and live a little bit.
I find it interesting.
I bet you do.
How about down in L.A. with Angelo?
Yeah, so he's my kind of person.
How so?
He doesn't care a fuck about life. It's great. Other people's life. Doesn't give a fuck. That's great. That's a good attitude to have.
Does he kill anybody?
Yep.
How many?
He has. 5 girls.
Did you watch him kill them all?
You bet I did.
You can be sure that he killed those 5.
Positively, without a doubt.
Okay, you guys, so that is part 1. I have told you guys their whole backstory growing up. I've told you about the murders. We went through half of this interrogation. I will be doing a part 2, just like I did on Tommy Sells. So thank you guys for joining. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Please give this video a like. And Juju Positive, thank you for the recommendation. Myself and Garnett, I'll actually tell Garnett about it right now, and we will get on to that. So, like I said, the kids are at school. I will be researching, and tomorrow Garnett is actually off. So if we could get that video out tomorrow for you, that would be good. But thank you guys. Please subscribe if you have not already. Please share our videos. Yeah, and I will see you guys later.